Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Timster. Today I wanted to go over the vehicle mechanics that I used for my entry into the Blender Game Making Competition 14. And this is where I had a little kart game where you'd sort of go around the map as a sort of race. And one thing that I wanted to quickly cover is how I got the movement for that going, since there was only really one movement actuator and one Python controller that was sorting out all of this movement. So I thought you guys might want to know how I did that, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's done. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up Blender, go over here, Game Engine, GLSL, and an animation frame rate of 60. I'm going to move this up here, and Shift A add a plane, and S to scale. This is going to be our ground, so let's make it nice and big, like so, alright? And we can call this ground. Then this here is going to be our car, or our collisions for our car, so let's just make it this big, and let's just call it car. I'm going to press Ctrl A and apply scale, and then I'm going to go over here to the physics, set it to dynamic. Collision bounds we can add as well. If we go into texture view and press P, there we go. Cool, so now what we want to do is go up into game logic, and before I do anything else, back to textured, I'm going to select this, press tab, U, and unwrap. Then I'm going to go over here, materials, new material, no specular, and then transparent, oh nope, no transparency, over to the texture tab. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a random texture. So there we go, I have added my texture. I'm going to select the lighting, choose Hemi, so we can see it, and there we go, that should be good. Now I'm going to select the car here, and I'm going to go ahead and add the following logic. So I'm going to have forwards, and then I'm going to have a side. Well, I guess we're going to have 4 keyboard sensors, so one for forward, one for side, one for left, and then the other one for going backwards. So forwards, backwards, or braking, then A and D as well, all on true pulse. We don't need that one. True pulse for that. Alright. So then over here I'm going to add a Python controller. Join that up. Like so. Okay, and then also I'm going to add an always on true and join that up as well. Then over here I'm going to add 2 properties. This one here is going to be velocity, and this one here is going to be turn. They're both going to be floats, so we can leave them as that. Then I'm going to select both eyes here as well. Then on this side, I'm going to add myself a motion and join it up. So now that's done, let's go over here and make ourselves a new script. Call this movement.py, spelled properly, like so. First line, import BGE, cont is equal to bge.logic.get current, spelled that wrong, controller. Own is equal to cont.owner, and we're going to import in the sensors here. So let's call this one W, S, A, and D. Alright, and then W is equal to cont.sensors, W, and then I'm going to select this, Control C to copy, Enter, Control V to paste, S, and then S over here. Control V to paste, and then A on this side as well. Control V to paste again, D this time, and put that in there. Alright, cool, so now we'll import in our motion actuator. That should just be singular. There we go. And motion is equal to cont.actuators. Motion. Right, so I'm going to change this back to a lowercase m. Then also what I'm going to do is add some constants up here. So constants. And these are just values that don't change. So the first one is going to be max vel for maximum velocity. That should all be in caps. Max vel. And that's going to be equal to the fastest we want it to go. So let's say 0.25. What else do we want? We want the maximum turn. So max turn is equal to, and I think 0.02 was what I had last time. We also want the increment of braking, so basically how fast we slow down. So I guess we can call it brake underscore speed. We should probably put underscores here as well. So that one there and this one here. Alright, and that's going to be equal to, let's just say 0.001. Alright, so now we'll get onto the logic. If w.positive, and also we need to import in our properties. So velocity is, actually properties, and then velocity is equal to own velocity, and then also turn is equal to own turn. Alright, so if w is positive and velocity is less than max underscore val for maximum velocity. So if our current velocity is less than the maximum, then and also s dot positive is equal to false. So we don't want to be going backwards at the same time. And then also, what else do we want? That should all be fine for now. Oh yes, also we want to make sure we're not turning, because when you're turning, the car should slow down. So on top of that, and a dot positive is equal to false, and I'll spell it right, and d dot positive is equal to false. Alright, colon and to the next line, so click this here, there we go. And so now what I'm going to do is we want to add to the velocity. So velocity plus what is equal to, so here we need how fast we want it to accelerate. So let's put acceleration in here. So accel is equal to 0.01. Right, so okay, so in here let's put accel. And then what we'll do underneath that is motion.dlock for this over here, the sort of offset location. So motion.dlock is equal to, and basically if we want it to go forwards, which would be x, then we need to add that in here. So I'm going to do a round bracket, then a square bracket, and then another round bracket, and in here velocity, well, let's just put own and then square bracket velocity, and then a round bracket to close it off, and then a comma, 0.0, another comma, 0.0, then a closing square bracket and a closing round bracket. Alright, and that is going forward. Now we need to apply this movement, so unt.activate motion. Now I need to change this to lowercase. There we go. And I think that should be about it. So let's see if that works. I'm going to press P, W, and we need to stick that in here. Right, so one more thing we have to do is in here own and then velocity. So I think I forgot that. Basically when you're adding to it, we just want to put own and then the actual property. So let's try that out again, and there we go, it accelerates off like so. So there we go, and then it stays at the constant speed. Now what we want it to do is slow down if we're not holding down W. So else if, so elif W dot positive is equal to false, and velocity is greater than 0, then what we want it to do is we want to minus speed. Now this brake speed here, I'm actually going to turn up to 0.01, and then also what I'm going to do is have cruising speed. So cruise is equal to 0.001. So in here what we're going to do is type in own velocity, so Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and in here we will add the cruise velocity. which actually we don't want to add it, we want to remove it. There we go. So it will start slowing down. Then take this, copy and paste, and there we go. So let's try that out. There we go, and it'll start slowing down and back to 0. Cool, so we have that part working. Let's go ahead over here and call this cruise speed. Then this over here I'm going to call forwards, and then above this I'm going to put in lots of symbols and then movement. There we go. Cool, so now we are done with that. Let's go ahead and put in braking. So braking. Now if you wanted to, you could put braking and also make that reverse. So you slow down and then once you reach 0 you keep reversing. But I'm just going to have it as a brake and nothing else. So in here what I'm going to do is type if w.positive is equal to false and velocity is greater than 0, we want to minus. So colon, next line, and also what we want to do is make sure that S is being pressed. So and s.positive is equal to true. We'll just leave it as s.positive. Then in here copy and paste this, and instead of cruise we want brake. So brake and brake speed underscore speed. Alright, so that should be fine there. Let's go ahead and try it out. So cruising, and then we'll slow down. So you'll notice if we hold down S, we'll get a very, very small movement in the opposite direction. So just to try and minimize that, instead of 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 0.01, or the braking speed. So let's do that here, and then for the cruising I'm going to do the same, and then let's try it out again. So W to speed up, slow down. What I might also do is we'll add like a cap to stop any movement if that does happen. So stop any movement, and then if velocity is less than 0.01, yeah, something like that, then what we want it to do is apply this. So copy and paste that, and instead of here, instead of own velocity, we want to replace it with 0.0, so it stops any movement. So get rid of that, we'll leave it at 0. Hopefully that will fix most of the movement. There we go, so that is looking good. Cool, so there should be no problems there. Now what I'm going to do is we'll add in our turning. So enter, delete 4 times. Alright, and let's put lots of these here. Turning. And then over here, right, turning. So now we want to check if the velocity, so if velocity is greater than, let's say 0.00, let's say 0.01 or maybe 0.02. So if the velocity is greater than that, and also and a dot positive because a is right, then also in here I'm going to type in and turn is greater than, actually less than max underscore turn. Right, so that will be the turning here. Then what I'm going to do is do a colon, next line, and I'm pretty much going to copy and paste this, except instead of D-lock, I'm going to change it to D-rot. And we can double check to make sure that's right. Offset rotation. Now what you can also do is instead of rotation, you can use torque if you want to get into using skidding and that sort of thing. Also, what you can use if you want to for moving forwards and stuff, you can go ahead and use the force. So either way, up to you. Over here, what I'm going to do is instead of velocity, we want to have turn. So turn plus what is equal to, and then the turn increment, which we don't have yet. So let's go ahead and put turn inc for increment, and that's going to be equal to 0.00. 0, 1. Then I'm going to scroll down all the way down here. Turn is equal to turn underscore increments. And then in here, I'm going to, instead of velocity, we're going to put turn. Right, so that should be that done. Also, what we want to do, however, when we are turning, we want it to slow down. So what I'm also going to do on top of that is type in own velocity and quotation mark minus what is equal to, and let's go ahead and put the brake speed on. So minus what is equal to brake speed. Now if you want to, you can go ahead and add your own value. So maybe we'll go ahead and actually do that. So let's put turn underscore speed, and let's make that 0.005, and then we can go ahead and minus that from here. So turn underscore speed. Then also over here, I'm going to press enter and pretty much copy and paste this line and then put that in there as well. Alright, cool. So if we press W, we should now be able to turn. Now we are turning just in the wrong direction, as you can see. So let's go ahead and change this here. So Control X to cut, and we want it on the Z axis. So Control V to paste, and then put 0.0 at the start. You can see turning slows down the car. And however, we will keep turning once we have started turning. So let's go ahead and remove that. So no turning. So in here, I'm going to press enter, and then if a.positive is equal to false, and turn is greater than 0. So then what I'm going to do is, instead of 0, we're going to put the turn amount. So 0.05. Right, and then in here, we're going to do colon, next line. And then we're going to put at the start of this one, elif for else if. And then we're going to do what we have over here. So own, turn, and then minus what is equal to turn increment. So turn underscore inc. And then what we're going to do is we need to apply that. So let's go over here, Control C to copy, new line, Control V to paste. And then also we're going to choose the motion here, Control C to copy, enter, Control V to paste. Alright, so let's go ahead and try that. We might need to also leave that at 0, and we'll go ahead and set up like we have here, stop any movement, except this one will be stop any rotation. Stop any rotation. So this is going to be if, I guess, turn is less than 0.001. So if that is true, then we're going to do a colon, next line, and then basically copy and paste this, except what we're going to do is change this over here to 0. And then I guess we can also get rid of that. Alright, so that should be good. Go ahead and try it out. So we can turn, but again, very slowly. Let's go ahead and remove the speed turning increment. So turn speed, I'm going to turn to 0.1, and let's try that as well. There we go. So very slow turning, but it does work. Turning increment, yeah, let's go ahead and change this to 5 as well. Alright, so cool, so there we go, that's working a little bit better. Right, so now one more thing we need is maybe turn up this velocity to 0.3. So now we've got right done, let's go ahead and do left. So copy and paste this, and then copy and paste that. So over here, I'm going to replace A with D, same over here. Turn is less than max turn. So what we want to do this time is we want it to be negative because it's going to be rotating in the negative direction. So we want turn to be greater than negative max turn. So there we go. If that is true, then we also want turn plus or minus that. So we actually want to minus it. The speed here we want also to reduce. Alright, so the rest of it looks like it should be fine. Over here, what we're going to do is turn is equal to false. We actually want to plus the increment. Now the problem here, what we have is the no turning, which actually needs to be less than 0. So is equal to false, and it's less than 0. There we go. So let's go ahead and try that out this time. Turning works in that direction, and in this direction, we sort of get locked up a little bit. Right, so we have one problem here, and that is if turn is less than 0.01, then it will sort of stop any rotation, which we don't want. So let's go ahead and put and d.positive is equal to false. Cool, so there we go. We have some basic car mechanics going. Just by simply using one Python controller and a simple motion actuator. If you want to get more into the physics side of it with, as I said, skidding and all of that sort of fun stuff, you will have to move into the torque and the force. So maybe you want to combine them with the location and the rotation. But either way, just wanted to show you guys this. I felt that not many of you picked it up when I sort of released the game itself, so I just wanted to sort of reinforce it as I thought it was pretty useful. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe for more of these kind of videos. But apart from that, that'll be it for me for this tutorial. So either way, hope you enjoyed the tutorial, have an awesome week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.